Hello everyone, this is Ross from Retro Dream Beam. I'm an eBay seller full-time. I've been doing this with my fiance Netta for a couple years now. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. I'm about to go into what we were shipping out today on Tuesday. We were super short on time, of course, because now we have double the amount of stuff that we normally ship out. Normally it's about like 10 items. At our prime, it was like 14. At some of our like lower months, it'd be like 7 or 8. So like really good amount of stuff. So let's just jump right into it. So the first thing right here is going to be something that sold right before I started shooting, and I had it over there because I was listening recently. Sons of Velmorn right here. Warhammer Underworlds. This is like a Rivals deck. I got a bunch of these Warhammer Underworlds cards. I think you're supposed to pair them up with miniatures, and you're going to play like a tactical combat game with a couple of Warhammer figures, and then you have like a deck of cards, I think. It took me a while to actually organize the whole box. They were kind of all over the place, so I had to like look up different deck lists and stuff. This ended up selling for $14.05. It's going international. It's going to be plus shipping. Everything's going to be plus shipping. All right, next up is a combo order. This is going to be a lot of 32 DC cards. I forget which year this one's from. It says Skybox Master Series 1994, I think, on the back. Yeah, that's the one. And then a complete set of these Star Trek cards, 1 through 90, right over here. I went to a trading card show recently. I did not get these from that show, but they had a lot of stuff like the Marvel DC cards, the complete set of the pop culture cards. I do find them occasionally myself. These end up selling for $26.98. So pretty cool combo order. I always get like a bunch of the Dead card game and I'll pick them up pretty cheap. Next up is going to be a book, Razorblade Tears, a novel. S.A. Cosby right here. Haven't read this one. This is a hardcover. I think this just looks like it's probably going to talk about like zombies or something, some post-apocalyptic type of book. That's just my guess based off of the cover and like the name. $8.43. We get them pretty cheap. All right, moving along, another book. Done pretty well with books now. The Luftwaffe War Diaries right here. These are like the German jets that were really powerful during World War II because they had jets and they were super fast compared to everyone else's planes, other than like the British Spitfire. This is going international for $9.11. All right, next up is going to be a combo order. I listed and organized these recently for a video for you guys. It's going to be a lot of 17 of these large size bases, large for like this game, and then there's 54 of like the medium size. So these are going to be Battlefront or Battlefield miniatures. I always mix up the two. These are going to be used for like 15mm war games such as Flames of War. This will probably put like some kind of tanks or something. These will probably have little infantry squads. These end up going to the same person. Let's see, that was $27.75. Pretty good for bases. I think I mentioned in the video that I know how to list them and they'll sell pretty quickly, and I was correct. All right, next up is a lot of two of these. These are Moto D. These are going to be like motorcycle decals that I think you put on your car, probably motorcycle. This is a really cool, this brings back good memories because we got a really good amount of cool stuff from someone that flipped storage units. A long time ago, this happened to be a bunch of bags of decals and stuff. They didn't like to mess with the small stuff, and we're completely fine with that. Our cat just knocked over the hamper, but she's fine. All right. She's just having a lot of fun. I guess she likes the energy I have right now, the rush, got to get stuff out energy. All right, next up is going to be 2 H.P. Lovecraft Cthulhu little comic books. I already have it sealed, so you can't see the other one, but here's the back of the other one. This has like the kind of like mystery, horror, terrors of the mind, insanity kind of stuff. People love this, so I always pick up like the comic books that are kind of weirder. The person I pick up comic books, they know the comic book stuff, so I kind of buy all like the cheaper stuff for really cheap because they don't want to deal with that kind of stuff. But I do pretty well. That one's going international for $10. A lot of eBay international sales. It's been really good for us recently. All right, next up is going to be Starfleet New Space News Part 2, and then there's Part 3 right over here. There's a half-price book sticker on that. Maybe we got that from there. I don't know. I just save all of like the baggies we get and stuff. I'll just remove the sticker after we're done recording. So yeah, these are going to probably be little inserts inside the Starfleet Adventures RPG. You'll have like little booklets and stuff. You'll get these box sets. You'll open up. These are just kind of like little bits and pieces from it. They'll have a little bit of information. One to repeat buyer for $5.56. People do like the Star Trek realm. All right, next up is going to be a lot of 3 books right here, or like comic books, Dusty Aries. So yeah, I always liked a lot of the little books and comics. I don't know too much about this. They're like a trade paperback. These end up selling for $18.75. It's the Screaming Eye, the Black Avenger, and the Tesla Raiders right over there. Like I said, doing pretty good with books. And another one right here, Olympic Winter Games. This is number 13, hardcover book that has a bunch of the information and pictures from this particular Olympic Games. People love the Winter Games. I know like Netta's dad likes it. My dad likes it as well. A lot of people like the Winter Olympics. So yeah, this not too crazy, $9. I don't even remember where we got this one. Probably had it listed for a while at this point, but someone probably just wants to look up maybe a specific person or an event, or they're just nostalgic about it. All right, next up right here, and I also drop stuff. I'm dropping stuff all over the place. The cats are inspiring me, I guess. All right, this is Clank Legacy. These are all the bits or pieces. This is from Annette and I's, our like actual game that we played. We played it twice. It is probably my favorite board game of all time. I can't talk too much about it because we have a lot of stuff to do. And then we have like less than an hour to pack and ship and drop off to the post office. But someone sent me a message that they currently have 3 games left. It's a campaign game where you play up to 12 to 14 games, depending on what happens, and you make permanent changes to the game. But there are a lot of static pieces that don't get permanently changed. Their family had lost all the tokens. You can't play the game without the tokens. So they said that they wanted to purchase this, and I was the only one that was selling bits and pieces to this game. It's really interesting to me because, like I said, this is for a legacy board game. Legacy means like you literally take like a Sharpie, you'll write on stuff, you'll make permanent choices. It's a lot of fun. It's my favorite type of board game. But even then, you can still sell bits and pieces. For example, there's miniatures here that people are like, there's like a really cool, this is called the Cardporium. It's a really nice deck box that you can end up using. So I still like to sell it bits and pieces. And someone literally told me I was the only one that had it. This sold for $18.74. I think the game new is probably like $100, $120, $140, depending on like shipping and stuff. So it's a really good one. All right, next up is going to be a lot of 123 of these Super Deck cards. This was the first time I got them at the last auction that I got a bunch from. Still don't know too much about them. I didn't see too many listed, so I kind of listed my lots a lot higher. This ended up going to a repeat buyer for $42. I already sold another lot of these superhero cards. They have a pretty decent like front and art, kind of like the comic style, the superhero style, but it's a little bit more detailed on the front, and the back is just like this lightning bolts kind of like generic sign. But yeah, $42 for a lot of that is pretty good. All right, this one I have to be very careful. This is actually an antique. It's from 1917 right here. This is going to be the Hub clothing store. As you can see, this is literally how it was listed. This is a receipt from a certain clothing brand or company that would sell burial outfits. So someone paid $25. This is like their hand receipt for it. So yeah, we always get like interesting ephemera. That was also from a storage unit. I just thought that's more than 100 years old. End up selling for $15. You never know what someone's going to collect or buy. So like, it's just a really cool like piece of history in my hands there. I had to put it down because it is that delicate. The person also said like, obviously pack it nice and tight. All right, so it doesn't get crunched. All right, next up is going to be, I think this is a manga right here. Not a manga. This is going to be an anime. Robin right here. I haven't seen this one, Witch Hunter. It's by Bandai. They do a bunch of like the Dragon Ball Z and other kind of anime stuff. So yeah, this ended up selling for $14.99. I'll occasionally get to a lot of interesting manga, anime DVDs and stuff. It's technically not like my expertise, but I do know it's super popular, and I do know a bunch of people pick up the stuff. All right, next up is going to be a super rare for the HeroClix game. This is one of the Captain Americas. They have a bunch of them. I don't remember what set this is from. Right here, is this Galactic Guardians? I don't actually remember. I might have not been playing during this time, but down here, there's going to be the set symbol. This one is like a gold bronze, meaning it's a super rare. Depending on what set that usually means, if you booster boxes come with 10 packs, usually you get like 2, 3 within like 10 packs. So super rares are just harder to get. Doesn't mean that they sell for more, but you should look them up because they could be, just because it's harder to get. $8.99 for that one. Also has the card with all the powers. Right over here shows what all that the powers do for that Captain America figure. All right, moving along. You've seen me sell this before. Foil Albert Wesker for the Legendary board game. This is going to be like a villain for the Resident Evil version. It's just a game where you pick a bunch of heroes, you lay out some cards. There's a super villain. There's a bunch of rules that the villain brings. So like this is an additional villain, and it's a foil one. And then you're, co-op. So you're like purchasing cards for your hero deck, and you're trying to like save civilians and then defeat. The goal is usually to defeat the supervillain. I did another one of these, so I relisted it. It sold for $11.99. It's a promo one. So yeah, it's people like to get all the cards to finish their game. All right, next up is going to be a PC game. This is East Front right here. So this is just the manual. This is just the disc, not in its like original case right here. It had like no scratches or anything like that. People like to play these type of military games. This sold for $10.80. All right, next up is going to be some tiny little miniatures. Where did I put them? These are going to be Dark Realms. These look like little like night elves or elves. They're on like a little like beast right here that have a bunch of spears. Then there was a bunch of little like turrets and then a tiny little infantry. These are 6mm, so I can't really show you guys. But this went to a repeat buyer for $29.99. Those were super cool. I told you recently, I just found out that there's like 6mm miniature games. So I was fascinated by it myself because I didn't know it existed. We sold the infantry military ones yesterday with some buildings that were painted. And then now those are like some fantasy ones. All right, last up, Flames of War 2. This is going to be 5 tanks right here. I didn't know how to figure out what tanks they were. Just wasn't my expertise. And then there's 5 dice here. Flames of War, super popular. World War II. I think it's 15mm miniature game. Yeah, 15mm right there. There's all the turrets right here. This, I think, is like a starter set. This is like how usually the tanks come in a starter set, or they'll have like these bigger packs where you'll get like the individual tanks. But I think just by the look of it, because I've sold the starter set before, these are from the starter set, I think. But the person probably knew how to identify the tanks because they took up close pictures of all of them. This one for $33.74. You can get good money for the Flames of War stuff. All right, that's everything. We're in a rush. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Hope everyone has a good one.